Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Musalia Mudavadi's party, ANC party, will hold its National Delegates Conference on Sunday, the 23rd day of January 2022. And Musalia Mudavadi has assured Kenyans that the party will make a major announcement. And that announcement is going to shake this country. And that the entire country is going to experience earthquake.
Tarehe 23 Jumapili ijayo, ANC, yani Amani National Congress, utakuwa na kongamano kubwa sana kule Nairobi, ambapo tutatoa msimamo pahali tunaelekea. Tunataka Kenya kama nini? Ielekee. Tunaona kabisa. Mtatoa hotuba ya kitaifa ambayo itatoa msisimko wa ardhi, yani earthquake, Kenya hii kwa mambo ya kisiasa. Kwa hivyo Jumapili, muwe kwa runinga, muwe kwa redio, tarehe 23, Kenya itabadilika. Tunaelewana kabisa? Kenya itabadilika. Na leo nataka nitambue pia kuna seneta waende kidini na tafuta kitu. Kuna ndugu zetu kule Kisii, Bwana Matoke Charles. Hao wote tunatafuta nafasi Kenya hiyo huru, na mimi sitaki watu.
For those who are following the politics of this country, Musalia Mudavadi's behavior of late within One Kenya Alliance movement has been shaky. And there are those who believe that Musalia Mudavadi is actually headed to William Samoei Arap Ruto's camp. So the only earth-shaking announcement Musalia Mudavadi can make is to join William Samoei Arap Ruto. So in this video today, I don't want to dwell much on that, but I want us to look at the options which are available for Musalia Mudavadi. Because what I don't want to happen to you is that I don't want you to be shaken by earthquake. But before we get into all those details, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. Now let us get back to business and focus more on One Kenya Alliance movement. Why was One Kenya Alliance movement formed in the first place? In my considered opinion, and I've opined it here severally, there were four groups around the president. There was the group which believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta should actually support William Ruto for the presidency. The president had decided he was not going to support his deputy, so that group was subdued. Then there was the second group around the president who believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta should support Raila Amolo Odinga. And then there was a third group which believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta was better off supporting a compromise candidate. And Musalia Mudavadi and Fred Matiang'i emerged as the favorite compromise candidate. But again, the president was not for that idea. And then there was the last group which believed that the president should identify one amongst his team and support, basically a member of the cabinet. And this is the team which was pushing for Fred Matiang'i and Mutahi Kagwe ticket. So all those groups were subdued apart from two. The one which believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta ought to have supported a compromise candidate. And this is the group which was behind the formation of One Kenya Alliance movement. But One Kenya Alliance movement is stuck. One Kenya Alliance movement is not moving. It's stuck. The engine cannot start. So One Kenya Alliance movement is already divided. Musalia Mudavadi is indicating his willingness to work with the deputy president or to go alone. In fact, there are people who believe that One Kenya Alliance movement's main intention is just to go up to the ballot so that they can occasion a runoff, then they can negotiate after that. So Kenyans will be waiting for Musalia Mudavadi to make his earth-shaking announcement. But in my view, Musalia Mudavadi has only 5 options. And this is why I'm saying I don't want it to fall victim of this handshake, of this earthquake. He has only 5 options. The first option which Mudavadi has, in my view, is to go alone and contest on ANC ticket. And the question is, can Musalia Mudavadi run for the presidency in 2022 and win as a presidential candidate on his own political party? If you ask me that question, my answer would be Musalia Mudavadi would be wasting his time. But Musalia Mudavadi can run as ANC on an ANC ticket. Then if he was focused, because I'm sure he has lost that focus, if he was focused, he would have managed to win several seats like he did in the last election, and then he can use those to negotiate. So those who are pushing for Musalia Mudavadi to run in 2022 believes very strongly that if his name were on the ballot, then his party will attract many candidates, and most of those candidates, or some of those candidates, their chances of winning are going to be high. So Musalia Mudavadi can decide to run on ANC ticket. But based on the way he has managed ANC, where we have seen even the latest member of parliament, the Matungu member of parliament, who was elected on the party's ticket, has left, where people like Savula are living, where people like Aseka Miradi are living, I don't think he will make a lot of headways. He can't win, but for his future politics, if he were to contest, maybe getting a few governors here, getting a few MCAs, a few MPs, he can use that and campaign and negotiate in 2027. The second option, which I think is what he ought to have considered first, is to pursue the One Kenya Alliance movement options. One Kenya Alliance movement had the potential of becoming a third force in this country. And if they were strategic enough, in my view, they would go into election united. Then after going into the election united, then force a runoff, where a runoff would mean they are number 3. But if they were strategic, in fact, the thinking of those allies I was talking about who believe that the president ought to have a compromise candidate, their thinking was that if Mudavadi, Ruto and Raila are running, I mean, if One Kenya Alliance movement fronts a candidate and Raila and Ruto are running, then there's even a chance of One Kenya Alliance movement becoming number 2. But that option is not going to be possible now because of mistrust. That option required sacrifice, because in that option, based on the technical team report, would mean that, for example, presidential candidate is Kalonzo Musyoka, then deputized by Mudavadi. Or Mudavadi becoming the presidential candidate and Kalonzo Musyoka becoming a running in it. In my view, if they were to agree on that and pursue it, then after the election, they can decide that, I mean, during Raila, they can decide we are going to support Raila or we are going to support Ruto. Will be based on the offer they are going to get. If Raila is going to give them good offer, they'll go with Raila. If the good offer is going to come from Ruto, good Ruto. But One Kenya Alliance movement, there's mistrust, and that option is now out. So which means, out of the 2 options I've given you, the only one which is still visible or viable is the one where he's going alone. The third option for him is for Mudavadi to join William Samoei Ruto and become William Ruto's running mate. The advantage of that is that there's a possibility of causing a political storm. And there's a possibility of William Ruto embracing it fully, and that's why William Ruto has been pursuing it. But Musalia Mudavadi cannot become a presidential candidate under that arrangement. William Ruto is serving as the current deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. So in this country, William Ruto can never become a running mate to anybody again. But William Ruto can decide to support Mudavadi just to punish Uhuru and Raila. So the question is, can Musalia Mudavadi agree to be William Ruto's running mate? I've always opined that should Musalia Mudavadi agree to be William Ruto's running mate, William Ruto is going to get at least now a credible running mate. But the other challenge Musalia Mudavadi is facing is that if, for example, Musalia Mudavadi today I think is 61 years old, if Ruto were to become president today, then serve 2 terms, that will be 10 years. Musalia Mudavadi will be 71 and as a deputy president. Is that what Mudavadi wants? So that's also a possibility. And again, sometimes Ruto can decide that these guys don't want me to become the president. So I'm going to do something which Raila did. Support Mudavadi and give Mudavadi a running mate. Support him, give him a running mate. Then Mudavadi, being Mudavadi, he can be easily impressed by the deep state, he can be made the president. But I don't think, based on the investment William Ruto has made and the betrayal he received from Uhuru Kenyatta, he can go to that length. So that's the challenge. But that's a possibility. So out of the 3 options, we are now left with the 2. He can pursue ANC or support the deputy president. Let us wait and see. The 4th option for me is to rally behind Raila Amolo Odinga. There's advantage of rallying around Raila Amolo Odinga. Number 1, Raila Odinga is now emerging as a state project. So this is the only time in the history of this country when Raila Odinga is enjoying the support of a sitting president. So it means he can easily become the president. So Musalia Mudavadi can decide to support Raila Odinga in the hope that Raila Odinga is going to become the president. And then his calculation should be based on 2027 because Raila Odinga is going to serve 1 term. And even if he's not going to serve 1 term, if he can make public agreement with him that we are going to support you, then you serve 1 term, then even if he will try to run again after 2022, should he succeed in becoming the president, then it would still mean that Musalia Mudavadi can bolt out and claim that Raila Odinga betrayed them. The mere fact that Raila Odinga can run for 1 term is what should give Musalia Mudavadi the hope to support him. But based on my own observation, I can clearly tell that Musalia Mudavadi is not going to support Raila Odinga. He would either go for Ruto or Musalia Mudavadi would rather go as Musalia Mudavadi. And my 5th option, because now we have only 2 options, he can go alone and he can support Ruto. Ile ya Raila is out. Oka option, I think is also out. But the other option is for him to swallow his pride and support Kalonzo, because Kalonzo has already declared his bid. There's a Gideon Moi factor there, which means Oka is going to die. So Musalia Mudavadi can decide that for me, let me support Kalonzo Musyoka for the presidency. Then Kalonzo Musyoka becomes the president, for example. Musalia Mudavadi then becomes a running mate. If they succeed in 10 years, then 10 years Ruto will be out of the equation. Musalia Mudavadi will still be a deputy president, because I don't think Ruto will survive politics. If Ruto will not make it to the presidency, I don't think he will survive the Kenyan politics, because he has never really survived outside government. So surviving outside government in 10 years will be difficult. Then it will mean after Kalonzo's term, he can easily become the president. But again, it will depend on his own ambitions. If Musalia Mudavadi is interested in just becoming a deputy president, then the best option for me is for him to support Ruto or to support Raila. But even supporting Raila, I don't think Musalia Mudavadi has a chance of becoming a running mate. So Ruto is the best bet for him to join, and that the earthquake I want to assume he is going to talk about. Because by joining Ruto, it means Musalia Mudavadi can negotiate with Ruto. He can even be made the governor for Nairobi. He can say, okay, I'm going to run for the governor of Nairobi. The lawyers will rally behind him. Ruto will rally the Kikuyus behind him. He can say that I'm going to get this number of cabinet secretaries. But of course, in Kenyan politics, which is full of betrayal, again, you can't back on that. I don't know what to think. That's my thoughts. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.